Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to episode number 12 of Vinyl Reveals. Good to have you along again on what is a very grey and probably suitably depressing day. It's obviously Remembrance Sunday today, so did my bit this morning for my. I've got a relative who died in the First World War, Caleb Homer, so just thinking about him today, which was quite nice just to remember him, and yeah, all good. But yeah, just one of those days, and something else a bit later as well. But we'll get into it. It's good. It's all good stuff. Do not worry. Do not be alarmed. And one of the first things I'll mention is the last reveal, episode 11 of Melanie Howard's Such Small Hands album, Carousel. There was a little pin badge and a sticker in the bottom of the package, which I didn't spot in my haste to get the record out. I didn't actually spot that, so thank you, Melanie. You won't be able to see that on TV, but yeah, thank you for that. I'm just going through that. It's all good. So this is episode number 12, and this I've entitled this episode myself. Not as though I didn't have a few backing up people. So if you want to name an episode, please just DM me or email me or get in touch on YouTube, whatever. If you want to give somebody a shout out, it's a great way to do that. Yeah, so this is episode 12, and Where Does It Go is the title. Get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, so episode 12 of Vinyl Reveals. So here we go. We've got a lot to get through today, but we're getting there. Anyway, this album from. This is the first time I've done a reveal from Ian's shop in Wolverhampton. The guy's called Ian. Hello, Ian. Tuning in. I did tell you to. His shop is Stay Loose Records in Farmer's Fold in Wolverhampton. So if you're ever in Wolverhampton, go and pay Ian a visit. Small little shop. Ian's like a DJ. Did a lot of DJing in the past. But there's a nice selection of music in there. You know, all kinds of stuff. Always find something in there to purchase. But he's a nice guy. He's got one of my pieces of art on the wall. So if you're wondering there and you wonder, who's done that piece of art on the wall? Could be me. And he's got these bags and these t-shirts with this kind of Stay Loose logo on, which is pretty cool. I quite like that. Quite sort of 60s yellow submarine feel to that font, I'd say. But I like that. I was a bit cheeky and playing my face and got a bag off him. There you go. Said to buy one. I did buy a record, so there you go. But yeah, so Ian, yeah, in Farmer's Fold, Wolverhampton, Stay Loose Records. So today's vinyl reveal is that's right, we're up. A Certain Ratio with ACR Loco. This album is called. Certain Ratio, Manchester band, originally formed right at the tail end of the 70s. Was it 77? Got it in my head. From Flixton in Greater Manchester. No idea where that is. Well, it's in Greater Manchester, obviously, but no idea whereabouts. But yeah, and they've had a bit of a hiatus, and this is their, shall we say, you could say that, this is their first studio album in 12 years, which came out on September the 25th of 2020, this year. I paid, price tag up there, £23. So without further ado, we'll get into it and carry on. And the interesting thing about this is that, I'll talk to you about that in a minute, is it's a limited edition coloured vinyl. It doesn't just stop there, because there's different colours of the vinyl. So before I open it up properly, I'll just explain that. But, Ian at the shop was quite excited to know which colour vinyl I got. I suppose I'm quite excited too, because on the front there's a little label there. It's got shiny, so you probably won't be able to read it, so I'll read it out. ACR Loco limited edition coloured vinyl, randomly packed in varying rarity. If it's a white vinyl, there's 300. There's a blue vinyl, there's 600. Red vinyl, fairly rare, 900. Turquoise vinyl, rare, 1200. So I don't know what my maths is pretty crap, but what's that? 2,100. So yeah, 3,000 in total. Includes lyric booklet and download code. Which is quite cool. Nice little logo there of a guy from above. I think we'll be able to see that. Quite cool. But anyway, we shall. Let's talk about the cover. And here you'll see you've got ACR Loco. It's kind of like done in this design. It's like almost like a font. Probably not a font, because I'm sure most of the letters of the alphabet would be undistinguishable in that, if that was a font. But that's clearly A, that's C, and that's an R. I like that. Lowercase. So that would be uppercase A, really. But I digress. But I really like that. Design-wise, I think that's really cool. And it's I've noticed some of their reissue stuff. The design's really cool and stands out a lot. So it's a really cool album, a really good design. It's just got a certain ratio there. ACR Loco in very simple font, with a line over the top. All nice. Now on the back, again we've got these shapes, I suppose you call those, in mono, black and white, going up and down, just reiterating the design from the front. I like that. Font's nice and minimal on the back. Quite like that to suit the style. Like a minimal style to this. And we'll go from side one is Friends Around Us, followed by Bouncy Bouncy, then Yo Yo G, then Super Freak, Always in Love, and then side two is Family, Get a Grip, Berlin, What's Wrong, and then final one is Taxi Guy. We've also got the times of the tracks there, which is nice. I assume this is the code STUMM454. Certain ratio under exclusive license to Mute Artists Limited, made in the EU. There's another number there, LC27959. Mute.com, so Mute is the record label, and they've got this, just where that little guy came from on the front. There's a guy, a little aeroplane, and Mute. That must be their little branding, a bit of branding for Mute. So I like that. It's really nice and simple and classy looking. Now, ACR, a certain ratio. Originally, as I said, sort of late 70s, mid 70s. I think they first formed. I think there were 5 of them originally, 5 or 6. But for this now, there's 3 of the founding members. Essentially, there's the bass, and then there's some people who come on board to help them out with lyric backing vocals and things like this, and do the odds and ends. But the 3 main guys are Jez Kerr, Martin Moskrop, and Donald Johnson, who are still in it now. And it's kind of a fusion, jazz funk, synth, synth wave, I suppose you call it, a little bit drum and bass in there, some disco, a little bit of industrial, bit of dance, bit of Latin. There's it's kind of action packed. It's very action packed throughout and engaging. Something for everybody to get their head round. And their influences originally were like Parliament, like a funk group, funkadelic, Earth, Wind and Fire, this kind of thing. And their very first album, I believe, was 2 Each. I think it was called, in May 1981. So it's been a while, but they're still there. They're still doing it. It's quite interesting to listen back to their early stuff. Actually, they had an album. I'm not quite sure what the first album was. I got a bit confused, but there was something called The Graveyard and the Ballroom. It was 1980. Almost sounded a little bit Joy Division, like the vocals. I think it's like a funky Joy Division, almost a little bit, but they were less funky then in a way. So it's interesting to where they've, what they've come through, and they've got back together, and I'm glad they've released this, and it's an interesting sound, to put it that way. Yes, so as I say, yeah, Mute Recordings, and the first single off this was the last track on the first side, Always in Love, which is one of the best tracks on there, I thought, really good. So we'll get into it. I'll stop babbling. See what we've got, actually see what coloured vinyl we've got. So we're hoping for white vinyl, in theory. There's only 300 copies of the white vinyl, which would make it fairly, what do they describe that as? Very rare. But no, my luck, it's going to be turquoise. So we shall see. So, well, it's in a cover, so we've got a bit to talk about yet. So the drama goes on, unfortunately for you guys. I'm going to put the kettle on. No, I'm okay, honestly. Fine. First off, inside here we've got a just like an advertising sheet. This is all. Is this? Yeah, this is all ACR. Their back catalogue, which is available through Mute. Some singles, and there was an ACR box set on the back, which also had some nice, really cool artwork. It's like overlaying of colours, very arty. I like that. But yeah, that's just like a bit of an advertising sheet. Therefore, there are other vinyl, other records, other music. Okay, and then we've got, what have we got? No idea what we've got. Okay, that's just a 4-page essentially, again with this ACR branding to the front, bringing some colours into it there, some nice rust red and some petrol blue, I suppose you'd call that, which is nice. And then on the back you got the same, like circles and stuff with those colours. So really good branding again, proper on brand kind of stuff, impressive design wise. And inside this is essentially the lyric sheet, which is pretty cool. So over on the left there we've got it on white, and over on this side here we've got it on this petrol blue or grey. It's like side 1 is all over there on the left, side 2 is over here on the right. Okay, and just got a little bit, that's really nice, really nicely laid out, very succinct and very easy to read, which is good. Bottom right, just got Tony Quigley on sax, and it tells you what tracks they've played on. I won't go into that. We've got Denise Johnson on vocals, we're going to in a minute. Matt Steele, Maria Uzor, Gabe Guernsey, some other people helped out, Mike Joyce, you might recognise that name. Eric Random, Maria Uzar, Gemma Collingford, Voices 09, whoever they are. All songs written and produced by A Certain Ratio, except Get a Grip, written by Uzor, Johnson, Kerr, Moskrop and Steele. Recording and mix engineered by Christopher Bride at Oxygen Studios in Salford, Manchester, UK. Published by Mute Song Limited. The sleeve design is by Trevor Johnson and Craig Johnson with Ensemble. So Ensemble design. Good job, well done guys. It is a font by the look of it. Metric font, and assistance by Wayne Fernley. So it looks like that ACR, that is actually a font. It'd be interesting to look into that. I'll have a look at that. Now I know what it's called. So yeah, I like that. Nice lyric sheet, nice thick weight of uncoated stock, really cool. Probably about 200 gram paper, something like that. Nice, really cool, really nice. Put that up there. Sorry. Okay, I'm getting there. Getting to the inner sleeve, which again, we've got this rust red and grey continuation of this breakup almost now of this font, which is really cool, nicely designed. Really like this. Really nice piece of vinyl record to have in the collection. Download code there is on the back. Yeah, that's nice. Anyway, let's see what colour vinyl we've got. Where are we? What are we after? White. Let's see. we have, I'm going to call that blue. What was blue? Exciting times. Blue, red, or turquoise. I'm going to assume that's blue. It's not turquoise, is it? Is that blue? Looks blue to me. I'm going with blue. 600. I'm going to have to get on mine actually. Just double check. Well, yeah, 600. So I'm kind of fairly happy with that. Well, assuming it's the blue. I'm happy anyway because it's a good record. So who cares? It's just coloured vinyl in it. And I'm not going to sell it. So there you go. So that's nice. Like a nice flat blue, kind of nice heavyweight. So that's kind of. I should be getting used to this. I shouldn't have to weigh these eventually, because I'll be used to the feel. In theory, I'll weigh them anyway just to make sure. But I'm going to start guessing and think, like I know, you know what I mean now. But 140 grams, that's pretty. I'm going to go with 140 and we'll weigh it in a minute. And then on the inner disc, we've just got this black disc, very simple. That's side 2. They don't line up, unfortunately. Never mind. And that side is a white. So again, we've kind of got this. They're going from one colour on one side, one colour on the other, similar to this. One colour on one side, one on the other. Quite like that. Mono again. Really nice looking thing. And these guys were with Factory originally. So yeah, Tony Wilson, like these guys. I think he said they're going to be the new Sex Pistols at some point. But there you go. Well, yeah, so enough about that. Let's see if there's anything on the runoff. It's very dark today. It's not doing it at night, to be honest. So we've got Stum 454 on that B side. Stum 454 on this side, and then it also says K-Tough Alchemy. K-Tough Alchemy is on the runoff of side 1. It's really cool. I like that. I'm putting down that as blue. 600 of those. Anyway, further ado, check it on the scales. What did I say? 140. Oh, well, it's my bad. 153 I've got. So there you go. Bit better than I expected. There you go. Shows what I know, doesn't it? Just keep weighing them. Well, yeah, I like that. Just pop it back in the inner sleeve. And pop that up there. And just going back to before anything else, the name of the episode, Where Does It Go, is in honour of Denise Johnson, who many of you will know from came to prominence with on Screamadelica, Primal Scream's album, 1991, wasn't it? Yeah, Don't Fight It, Feel It and all that. She sadly passed away I think it was just after this album came out, and she sings on this album, so that's just in honour of her own album, which she brought out, which came out just after that, their own solo album of covers, and it's called Where Does It Go. So it'd be nice to pick that up actually, and I've listened to some of that. She's got a cover of True Faith on there, so just very sad that this was essentially one of Denise's last collaborations. Very sad indeed. So just hats off to Denise. And yeah, so yeah, go have a look for that. Where Does It Go? Denise's solo album, but unfortunately passed away in September or July. Sorry, I think it might have been July actually. Just before this came out. So anyway, she'll move on to a review of this album, and it's quite entrancing, this album. It's they've been away for 12 years and they've come back and produced, I think it's a really solid album here, quite futuristic sounding, gets off to a good start with Friends Around Us, It's almost like two songs in one. It kind of comes to a stop and then it goes into something else. Almost like a bit of a content at the start, I think, for what you're going to get a bit of this and you're going to get a bit of that. It's kind of engrossing throughout. It's very interesting. Different styles, a mashup of different styles, and it's a good start, good solid start. And number 2, Denise is on this, and this is We're Encouraged to Bounce. We need to bounce and regain, and it's called Bouncy Bouncy. It's got a monologue in there, and we're encouraged in this one. We're encouraged to, there's a lyric, encouraged to come together to fight greed, and that's a bit of a monologue at the start. And there's some more in there. Free your mind, let the rhythm take your mind. That's upbeat, very kind of gets you up and dancing. There's some sax in there, some glockenspiel, funky, edgy. It's got some rattling toms in there. And there's a little bit like French monologue in there in places, and there's a bit of that throughout the album, which is quite interesting, I thought. But yeah, that's one of their a really good song, very different, I thought. And on to number 3, Yo Yo G. I think I pronounced that correctly. A bit of a future sound, feel a bit like a Tokyo. I think that's where they're coming from. I'm just like, feels this is if this was set anywhere, everything like Tokyo, some like future with those lights and, you know, very vibrant, non-stop. There's a bit of a flat Eric synth in there, beat, which is quite cool. It's got beeps and bops, almost like a bit of a computer's having a mental breakdown, which is quite cool. I think if 2001: Space Odyssey, if you've seen that, and HAL the computer, I think if he listened to, this would be right up his street. This is probably in his collection. HAL the computer be up for this. But a lot of funky stuff going on throughout this, really good, and quite compelling really throughout. Number 4, nice slice of funk there, proper funk, going back to they're inspired by. There's a siren type trumpet in there, a bit of reminding me of Hot Chip, a little bit the band Hot Chip, and this is where Gabe Guernsey is on this. And there's a lyric in there: you await on my face, walking around the strange place, nothing here is what it seems, take my hand, take my dreams. So some really lyrically, some good stuff in here, some poignant stuff, interesting stuff. Number 5, I thought this was Always in Love. This is one of the first single off the album. Denise features prominently on this. It's chilled, it's dreamy, it's it's a really feel good song. Just some lyrics from this one. Always in Love. The colours of life start in your eyes. They're so appealing. I miss you so much. When we lose touch, no use in pretending, and try so hard to be someone. Don't forget where you're just coming from. I'll do everything I know, help you where you want to go. So yeah, some really cool lyrics in there. A nice little bit of a change of pace from the earlier stuff. Just took it down a notch there. Again on 6, we've got a duet again. There's a heavy funky rhythm in this one. It's sort of sung about uprising, things like that, really kind of challenging the listener to think about like what's going on in life. The kind of crap we're being forced, essentially. Power of the People, very political, this song. Family, it's called. Nice. Another song there, but there's number 8 is Berlin. It's like every what's that? Every step you take is someone else's, is a lyric from that. And in it, there's this like weird little, almost like a pool table being re-wrapped. It's like a very quick little sound. I'm not sure if that's where it came, what it is, but just reminded me of that. And there's a lyric in there: you never leave your hair alone, which I thought was quite quirky and sort of trying to say something intriguing, very intriguing. Number 9, What's Wrong? Again, another Starship feel, like a sci-fi type. There's a monologue. It's draws you in that one. It's quite absorbing, that one. That's one of their best songs on here, I think. What's Wrong, like that. And it finishes off with a song called Taxi Guy, which is just a balls out Caribbean carnival feel, like you're in Rio, that band marching down the road. It's got that feel to it. got some bird song in there, some lush sax, some Latin calf type chatter going on behind. You know, you could really kind of, I thought just what I've put is you could lower your hips, bend your knees, and twitch your shoulders. It's just one of those songs that gets you up and makes you feel good. And throughout the whole album, you know, it's compulsive. It makes you want to get up, and you know, it makes you feel good. It's a feel good album. It's action packed. There's never a dull moment on it, and I really enjoyed it. You know, it's something that I wouldn't particularly normally go for. A certain ratio, I hadn't even heard of them, really, to be honest, until about a year and a half ago. Never even heard of them. But I thought, you know, I'd heard a bit of their stuff, and I thought I'm going to give this, you know, Denise sang on it. So yeah, I was intrigued enough to buy it, and the design was really cool. The branding, everything about it was really good. So yeah, I'm glad I've brought it, and I've ended up with the blue one. I assume it's blue. It's not turquoise, but so I'm quite, you know, I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, get into it. I recommend it. Actually, highly recommend the album. So hope you've enjoyed that. Certain Ratio, ACR Loco, name of the album. And if you do find it, obviously you've got a chance of getting the white vinyl, which is 300 copies. So you know, you've got a rare piece of vinyl there. Seemingly only 3,000 of the coloured version. I don't know if they've done it on a black or a standard version or not. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah. So glad you could join me again. I think that's kind of it. I think I've said everything there I need to say, and I shall pop it on and leave you be, and to enjoy the rest of your Sunday, or whenever you're watching this. So let's pop it on. We'll go with side 2, Family, and I'll see you again soon for episode 13. We won't be unlucky. So stay tuned. Look after yourself, take care, and be careful out there. See you soon. Bye.